of talking season here at Media Days, because to me, you have two teams that are quite equipped to enter the league. But right now, Texas, Paul, seems to be the team that everyone's talking about, because I don't know where you stand on them. I have them 1A behind Georgia.
I think you have to, Matt. And I've been in Austin a couple of times lately, and they're confident. I mean, of course, they're always confident, but this is legitimate. This isn't a we're back type of deal that you've heard too often in Texas history. And Sarkisian just went in there, and everybody acts like, man, this is a big deal. You know, what's funny about Sarkisian, I've heard many of my brethren down here, you know, as a Nick Saban disciple, have we forgotten that he got to start under Pete Carroll? I mean,
Yeah.
who wasn't, I thought, a pretty good coach back in the day. But that's the power really of Saban. Both Kiffin and Sark are Saban disciples, even though they really cut their teeth at USC under Pete Carroll.
Yeah. Both of them, they were the young coordinators and quarterback coaches and offensive guys under Pete Carroll on that run with Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush.
Not a bad run.
No, and now both of them are in the SEC, and both of them, speaking of Texas and Ole Miss at Lane Kiffin respectively, I mean, you look at the league, it has a real opportunity to get quite a few teams in the college football playoff. We'll get to that in a minute. But Texas comes in, Quinn Ewers is back. They dominated in the transfer portal. They got Isaiah Bonds from Alabama, who's a top flight receiver. They bring in a smaller kid who I think is going to be a stud, in Silas Bolden out of Oregon State. So, Paul, of the two, I think that Texas really landed themselves in a much better preparatory spot to handle the rigors of an SEC schedule.
Yeah, and the schedule is critical. I mean, these are, you know, everybody doesn't have the same schedule. And Texas has a pretty favorable schedule. Now, they do have two, what I would call, really tricky games that you wouldn't think about. One at Arkansas, one at A&M. I mean, two. Arkansas is a bottom division team, but that's a rivalry, Matt, that wakes up the echoes of college football. They played in one of the greatest most important games in the history of the sport in 1969, and then they play at A&M at the end of the season. And you've lived in the state. I hear more about that game from Aggies than any game I've heard about in a long time. And by the way, I say that considering they opened the season against Notre Dame. I'm not saying that game's an afterthought. I mean, game day, the whole 9 yards will be there.
Yeah.
But they want Texas so badly. It's palatable, and Texas has so many big games. I mean, Oklahoma and all these other games, and they have Georgia in the middle.
When you have to go to Michigan's another one.
Yeah,
I think they'll be fine in that one, but it's an atmosphere.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a game that should be like the game of the year in the early part of the college football season. You may be the first person that's mentioned it all week.
SEC bias, see? You guys go down there to Dallas, and your network's out there all damn day doing 50 hours of TV. Okay, so that's kind of a natural segue. I don't want to pivot to Oklahoma just yet, because there you have Texas A&M, who thought they were getting away from the Texas issue when they joined the SEC, thumping their chest. We're in the conference that just means more. You stay in the little Big 12.
Give me something